Welcome to TNT Sports Talk. Today is Thursday, July 26th. As always, we are presented by D's Home Cuts. I'm your host, Travis Karcheski, joined by my co-host, Truman Karcheski.
How's it going, guys?
We're welcomed back in studio today by Cubs and Bears fan Brian Leonard.
Glad to be here.
We're going to get to a little bit later. I know the Cubs and Brewers are kind of going back and forth right now, but we'll talk a little bit later. I know Truman's been wanting to debate this a little bit after the Brewers have been kind of falling down the past couple weeks.
After we beat the Nationals twice.
And Nationals suck. But we're going to get into football first. Training camp is opening up today. I know a couple camps have been open for a little bit. The Ravens and who's playing in the Hall of Fame game? Ravens and the Bears.
Yeah.
So the Bears have been there for a while. But everybody's kind of showing up now. All the camps are opening up. But we're going to continue reviewing some of these teams. We're going to do the Redskins and Buccaneers today. We'll start with the Redskins. 7-9 last year. Kind of been a mediocre team the last couple of years with Kirk Cousins, but he's gone now. That era is over. They added Alex Smith in a trade. They also added Paul Richardson from the Seahawks. They lost Terrell Pryor. Not really lost. Didn't have that great of a year last year. But they had a pretty good draft. They drafted Geis in the second round, I believe. And then they took Deron Payne in the first round out of Alabama. Why are you shaking your head there, Brian?
All the Redskins do recently, it seems, is draft Alabama players.
They took Allen last year, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. They're really into Alabama players lately.
I mean, Alabama's probably the most NFL-ready program.
But, yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, you're a big Alabama guy, but
I don't know. I don't know what their infatuation with
Alabama guys.
players.
Especially SEC guys. Look, they took Geis, too. But this team has talent. They got Josh Norman. They got Ryan Kerrigan, who I think is one of the most underrated defensive players in the game. Chris Thompson, one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL. Jordan Reed, when healthy, is one of the better tight ends. And Trent Williams is one of the better left tackles in the NFL. So this team does have talent. I don't think they did enough over the offseason to go above this 7-9 record. I like Jay Gruden. I like Alex Smith, but they just don't have enough weapons for him, I think, with Jordan Reed's injury concerns. But they got a steal in Geis. I think if Geis stays on the field, he's one of the best running backs coming out of this class. So do they transform into more of a running type of offense? I could see that, and I think that would pay off pretty well for him.
yeah, I think it's more what they're trying to do is like what the Redskins did. What the Chiefs did. They're kind of going to look at what Alex Smith did. I'm sure they liked what he did. That's why they brought him in. You know, they're kind of going to evolve around speed. Geis obviously really fast. Paul Richardson's kind of got that speedy receiver to him like maybe a Tyreek Hill. So it's going to be interesting to see what Alex Smith can do in a new place. I think he's been one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he doesn't get enough love. He's one of the more consistent quarterbacks in the league, and I think he'll definitely make the Redskins a winning football team. Now, I don't know if they're really a contender right away, but I think the Redskins put the right amount of weapons around him and the type of offense he should be in, and I think the Redskins can win this year with Alex Smith.
I think that I can't talk. I don't know. I think the Redskins are just a pretty mediocre football team overall. I think they're probably going to go about 9-7 this year, right in that range. Their division is so strong with the Eagles sitting on top that they're not going to go there's no way that they're going to the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think they have nearly strong enough talent.
I know Truman said they're trying to build this around the Chiefs, but they don't have Andy Reid. They don't have Nagy.
Jay Gruden, to me,
I think Andy Reid's
fantastic coach.
I think Andy Reid's a top 5 coach though in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree, but I think Jay Gruden is a fantastic
I know
coach.
Brian. They had Nagy, who I think is an offensive wizard, and able to use all those weapons like he did. And I don't think Paul Richardson's Tyreek Hill, and I think he could be, but I don't think Geis is Kareem Hunt, and they don't have Travis Kelce up the middle there to work with. I think this team.
Jordan Reed.
He's hurt. He's hurt every single week. He got those
Jordan
concussion
Reed,
issues.
when healthy, is
and they got Chris Thompson, who I really like Chris Thompson a lot. But I mean, they got on the outside, they got Paul Richardson, Crowder, who hasn't really ever been anything. It's just mediocre wide receivers. I see this team falling a lot. I'm going 4-12. I think this is they're going to really take a step back this year. They were mediocre with Kirk Cousins, who I think is a lot better than Alex Smith. So I think 4-12, last place team.
I don't think the gap between Kirk Cousins and Alex Smith is that big. I think you're getting a more talented offense overall. And I think you're very underrating Jay Gruden. I think he's won a lot of games with not that great of a roster in the past. So I really like him. He's one of my favorite head coaches in the league. Maybe it's just because of the Gruden name. But I disagree 100%. I think the Redskins are going to go 10-6 this year. I think they're going to fall short of the playoffs because I think the NFC is going to be a very, very tough conference, and that division, like Brian said, is going to be fantastic with the Giants coming up this year and the Eagles being the Eagles, and the Cowboys. You never know what the Cowboys are going to do. So I think this division is going to be fantastic, and I think the Redskins are going to fall at 10-6, which right now I believe would be third in that division according to my records.
I'm still gonna go with 9-7 in a right around
mediocre.
Yeah, just middle of the road team.
That's Alex Smith. He's just a mediocre guy.
I
like Alex Smith, but he's not.
He is one of the more consistent quarterbacks in the league.
He doesn't have anything.
I agree.
Through 6 or 7 weeks last year, he was a top 3 MVP candidate.
Yeah, and they got Travis Kelce, who's a top 1 and 2 tight end with Gronkowski. Tyreek Hill's one of the better offensive players in the league with his speed and versatility. Kareem Hunt was the NFL's leading rusher last year. They don't have any of that this year.
I don't think the Redskins lack that. I mean, they do not have the weapons that the Chiefs have, but it's not like it's a big gap. I think Jordan Reed, when healthy, is top 3, top 5 tight end in the league. I think Chris Thompson and Geis, I think that's a good running back combination back there. I think it's speedy. I think they're a good 1-2. I love Paul Richardson. I love what he did in Seattle.
He's just getting a lot of what he had in the Chiefs and what he has now the Redskins. They're off-brand Chiefs weapons.
Yeah, but I think you're underrating Alex Smith. I feel like you're just.
I
don't think he's a mediocre quarterback.
I think he's a game manager and he plays as good as his weapons are.
Why does he get that reputation? And he had one of the top deep ball percentages last year.
He's a game manager,
yeah, but he's never really been able to win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Though. Oh, I don't think he's a playoff quarterback. I'm not hyping him up to be a top 5 quarterback.
He plays as good as his talent is, and this talent is not that good.
I disagree.
You guys are forgetting also the Redskins have a really good offensive line. I think they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Trent Williams is one of the best left tackles in the league, and I'm just looking from just off the top of my head, it's definitely better than the Chiefs. Because I think the Chiefs had one of the worst in the league last year.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I think you're really underrating Alex Smith, and I don't think he's a mediocre quarterback. I think he's one of the better ones in the league, and I think the Redskins are pumped up to go from Kirk Cousins to Alex Smith because I don't think it's that big of a gap.
I think he's. I mean, you wouldn't rank him in the top 10. He's not a top 10 quarterback.
I think he's 10, 11, 12.
He's 12 to maybe 16 in that range. He's mediocre.
Definitely not. He's definitely top 15.
Yeah, so mediocre. I'd rank him maybe 14 or 15. He's like a mediocre guy.
I would say he's 10, 11, 12.
I don't know, but I said 4-12. I don't think they're going to do that well this year. But we're moving now to the Buccaneers, a team that went 5-11 last year. They're going to be dealing with a lot beginning of the season. No Jameis Winston, their guy the last couple of years, suspended 3 games. I know Brian's shaking his head over here. They didn't lose a lot. They lost Doug Martin, who has been dealing with his own off the field type of stuff. But they added Pierre Paul, they added Vinny Curry, they added Bo Allen, 3 solid defensive line pieces that just adds to McCoy, one of the better defensive linemen in the NFL. And then they took Vita Vea with their first-round pick. So this defense line is obviously the focus of that team right now. It's one of the better defensive lines in the NFL. Then they took Ronald Jones out of USC. He's a pretty good running back. He was ranked kind of first round, maybe late first round. And the guy they took that I really like is Carlton Davis, the corner out of Auburn. He was kind of an underrated guy, late second, early third. And they took him in the second round. I really like him a lot. They have some good wide receivers, though. Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans is one of the better 1-2 punches in the league. O.J. Howard didn't show a lot last year, but he has the talent to be a pretty good tight end. But I think this is going to revolve around Jameis Winston. And I think Jameis Winston's a pretty overrated quarterback. He's not what he was at Florida State. We'll see what happens this year, but I just don't think this team is going to compete really anywhere in the NFL.
One of the underrated things about the Buccaneers is their defensive coordinator, Mike Smith. I love Mike Smith. I loved him when he was in Atlanta as the head coach. I think he's one of the tougher, grittier coaches in the league, and I think they got him some pass rushers. They got him a good defensive line, and I think they got an overall pretty good defense, and I think that's going to help them a lot. I just love Mike Smith. I love the way he coaches. But then you look at the offense. The talent's there. O.J. Howard was one of the best prospects in the league 2 years ago, coming out of Alabama. They've got Mike Evans, who I think is one of the best receivers in the league. And then Deshaun Jackson. I think if he's plays, if he's healthy and he gets his receptions, is one of the better receivers in the league. It all comes down and rests on the shoulders of Jameis Winston. If he can come back after his 3 game suspension, I think the Buccaneers can compete and be a scrappy team. But the 3 games that Jameis Winston is out for, I don't think people realize this. They have the toughest 3 games to start the season. I think they play the Eagles, I think they play the Steelers, and I think they have another tough game. So it's 3 very, very tough games. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I can't see them winning one of those games. I see them starting the season maybe 0-3, maybe 1-2, and then from there it's just going to be rough and downhill for Jameis Winston to come in and try to, gather everybody together.
So you guys don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be able to...
I love Ryan.
I like Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's one of my favorite quarterbacks. But he plays... I'm going to look it up. They definitely play the Eagles once, and they play the Steelers. Buccaneers schedule. So it's just going to be impossible for them to...
I just don't... I don't know. I think there's a lot of talent on the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers will have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. I think they finish with a top 5 defensive line this year if everyone stays healthy. But I think they're going to be awful.
Yeah.
So they start the season, first game at New Orleans.
Okay, loss.
So loss. Then the Eagles travel down to Tampa Bay.
Loss.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so I see 0-3. I don't think...
0-3, maybe... No, it's 0-3. And Jameis Winston's going to have to come in and gather everyone together, which I don't know if he can do.
Yeah, I don't see him as a leader.
Then they go to Chicago.
Loss.
And, then they play Atlanta, Cleveland. I don't know. I just feel like it's just going to be very tough for the Buccaneers to win many games.
Yeah, I don't think Jameis Winston is a leader. I don't think he is. He has the talent to be a franchise quarterback, but he's just... he's stupid. He's just not a good leader. He's not a good face of your franchise type of guy. I think Mike Evans is a guy who could change this offensive around if they were to run their offense through him. I like Ronald Jones. I think he could be a featured back, but they're just going to run this through Jameis Winston, and I don't think he is the type of guy to do that. I think Dirk Cutter gets fired at the end of the year. I think they go 6-10. A little bit better than 5-11, but just mediocre with all his talent. That's not going to cut it for the Buccaneers ownership. So they're going to cut Cutter. They'll find somebody, maybe Mike Smith, maybe they promote him. That would be a good idea, but 6-10, I think, is just another bad, mediocre year for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5-11. I don't think they improve at all, and I think they get rid of Cutter after this season and get Jameis Winston kind of a revamped new system where he can kind of develop in and see what happens after that. But they have the talent, and I think they could be a scrappy team that teams really don't want to play, but I don't think they're going to win many
Just because of
games.
the defensive line, I think. It's really gonna help them out, but
yeah, and they have talent on the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a 40-year-old Brent Grimes.
Yeah.
In the secondary too. I don't know. I think that the Buccaneers are gonna go 5-11 this year.
Yeah, they're not that good, but two pretty mediocre teams we did today. But like we said, training camp is opening up, so NFL news is gonna start buzzing. A couple people who didn't show up at camp yesterday. I'll run through this list. Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Le'Veon Bell, no surprises there. Earl Thomas was kind of a surprise, but not really. He wants to be traded, and I don't blame him. And then Sam Darnold, he didn't show up either. He hasn't gotten his deal yet. I don't really know why he hasn't showed up. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a little concerned, but, I mean, what are you going to do there? If he's the guy, he's in a competition with 3 guys, Bridgewater and McCown. I mean, I don't think he wants to take any time off here.
Well, doesn't he want to win over his teammates?
Yeah.
And if he's a rookie, already bitching about his contract, that just doesn't set well with the veterans on the team. So that's not good for him.
Yeah, and I think, Earl Thomas, like I said, he wants to be traded. He's going to get traded here soon. Seattle's just falling apart right now. But yeah, Earl Thomas, Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack are some of the biggest names. Taylor Lewan was supposed to hold out, but he showed up yesterday. Julio Jones supposed to hold out. He got his contract figured out. I don't know what happened there, but he's gonna show up to camp. So.
All right, so I don't know. I have random Raiders news right now, even though I'm not a big Raiders fan. I saw earlier that John Gruden has apparently not spoken to Khalil Mack once since taking over his head coaching job, which is just like...
He's your best player?
Yeah, I have no idea why that has not happened. And then also the other day, I saw that John Gruden said that if he can't, quote, get the job done, then he will not take any of the Raiders' money. And I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard.
Khalil Mack's one of the best defensive players in the league.
That kind of leads into our next, what are some of the storylines heading into training camp? And I had, how is John Gruden going to do as a head coach? Because he's been, it's been like 10 years since he last coached or something like that. Crazy. And, this is concerning if I'm a Raiders fan because Khalil Mack is your guy.
He's your franchise player, really. Derek Carr is, good quarterback. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But Khalil Mack is kind of who they're building.
He's a franchise-changing player. And to be not talking to him at all.
To the new head coach to not even have a conversation with him. I love John Gruden. I think he's going to do fantastic. But I don't know why he hasn't talked to his best defensive player.
I think that the Raiders are going to be awful. I think the Raiders had something really good going. And then Derek Carr broke his leg, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just, by this point, it's just
a mess.
It's a mess.
Really? I'm going to disagree on that one.
Well, now they're moving to Las Vegas. That's going to hurt.
The whole Michael Crabtree, Jordy Nelson thing,
yeah.
It's Jordy Nelson. Okay, so they got Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant.
Martavis Bryant, too.
Martavis Bryant, what are you doing?
Marshawn Lynch. Bringing in Marshawn Lynch made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Derek Carr is...
They got Doug Martin, though. They added him. I like Doug Martin if he can stay healthy. And
they just have so many, questionable guys.
Yeah.
Doug Martin, Marshawn Lynch.
We'll see what...
Nelson. I don't know.
We'll see what John Gruden can do.
Yeah, but that's going to be a big storyline, watching what he can do. Another one I have is, the Seahawks. This just seems like since the Super Bowl, they've just been falling apart the last couple of years. They're another team. It's just been a mess. They've had 600 different running backs come through that building. Russell Wilson's really been the only consistent force. That defense, the Legion of Boom, is just gone. Sherman's gone. Chancellor retired. It's just a mess right now. I saw something where they were open to trading everybody except Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner, which are two key guys, obviously. But, this team, I think Pete Carroll's gone in a couple of years, and they've really fallen far since the Super Bowl.
I don't know why the Seahawks just refuse to add linemen. They've had the worst line in the NFL for years, where they just bring in random guys. Some of them haven't even played football.
They bring in running backs to try and, but they can't. Nobody can run behind that offensive line.
They don't stay healthy.
Exactly. So I think if you want to build a run game, you build from the offensive line. Then
they had Rawls. Yes. Rawls was a really good running back. He got hurt because he was good.
Okay, he was good.
They have Carson last year. He was pretty solid. He showed some promise. He got hurt. This team is just every year they throw another guy.
And then they drafted Rashad Penny in the first round.
Yeah, it wasn't even projected to go in the first round.
When they definitely could have picked a decent offensive lineman there.
They had Will Hernandez was still on the board. He's a first-round offensive lineman.
Will Hernandez was still there. I think Connor Williams was still there.
Yeah, there were some big names. And instead they went with Rashad Penny.
That's Tom Cable. He's the offensive line coach over there. And he's fighting on the sidelines with guys. It's a mess. That's another mess of a franchise. I think the defense has kind of covered it up the last couple of years, but this team's just been kind of a mess for a long time. I don't think Pete Carroll has so much control on that locker room as people think. So I think I could see him getting the axe this year. Truman talked about it in the last show. And then obviously the rookie quarterbacks, who's going to be the first guy to get that starting job. I think Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco is going to be huge to watch. I don't think Joe Flacco really realizes the pressure that he's under right now. Even though they took a first-round quarterback, he should really start stepping it up. And I don't think he realizes, he's in a competition right now, even though they won't admit it. So that's something to watch for, I think.
Yeah, I think the first one that might get the job, and people said he shouldn't. People said this guy should just sit for years. But I think Josh Allen's got a shot to start in Buffalo.
I like McCarron though.
I like McCarron's all right, but I think that Buffalo is in a chance where they don't have that many weapons. And the thing about Josh Allen is he's got a lot of hype around him, and I feel like he just makes big plays and makes people turn their heads. And I think that could be enough to get him a starting job. But I honestly don't see any of those first-round quarterbacks starting. But I think Josh Rosen's another one who he can push Sam Bradford.
I think the only time Rosen will start is when Bradford gets hurt, and Bradford's going to get hurt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Josh Rosen definitely has the greatest chance to start. But I just want to add in like a little quick side note. I don't know if either of you've seen Jay Cutler on his wife's show.
I watch it every single day. It's great.
It's amazing.
He's just such a weird guy.
He just does not care at all. So I would strongly recommend.
Yeah,
what's this? Very Cavalieri.
Yeah, very Cavalieri. It's a great show. I've watched all 3 episodes. It's pretty good. He's
a lot of
fun.
drama.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drama for someone who doesn't want drama.
No, he literally wants no part of it.
It's just him, like, just sitting there all the time.
Just shrugging and, like, just not
He's just
caring.
weird.
Just judging these, like, girls from a distance. It's so funny. But, yeah, those are some of the storylines. Todd Gurley, it came out after the last show. He got signed up, 4 years, $60 million. $20 million a year. Not $20 million a year. I forget what it is. It's like 18. Averages out or something like that. And if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I'm pissed right now because, I mean, the Rams don't have a lot of money to be throwing around, especially with the guys they got to be paying here. And Le'Veon Bell, I think, is better than Todd Gurley, and he just gets nothing close to 4 years, $60 million. So if I'm a Steeler fan, that's concerning news.
Yeah, but if I'm the Rams, I wouldn't have paid him that much because in a couple of years, if Jared Goff, stays where we expect him to be, they're going to have to pay him a boatload of cash. And then the big question mark is Aaron Donald, probably the best defense player in the league. People are saying he's the best defense player in many, many years, and he wants money. And I heard he's not taking no for an answer. He's not going to take a snap until he gets paid. And how much cash do the Rams have to throw around?
Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little bit later. We got a question about Aaron Donald. But we're going to move now to baseball. But before that, I want to remind you that our show is brought to you by A's Lawn Service. Since 2014, A's has been providing professional landscaping to many homes around Northeast Ohio. By using professional equipment, A's constantly strives to provide families with professional landscaping at a low and fair price. Are you tired of being dragged around by bigger landscaping companies, Brian?
Absolutely.
Turn to A's. Brian used to work for a landscaping company.
Oh, yeah.
Turn to A's and trust me, your lawn and your home will never look better. The phone number is 330-241-2392, 330-241-2392, and the email is lawnservice.a's@gmail.com. A's Lawn Service, LLC. You grow it, we cut it. So, baseball, we got the deadline coming up. When is the deadline?
It's, I believe it's
6 days.
Yeah, so
the 30th?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, end of July. Something like that. A couple moves that have been going on. Sang-Hwan Oh from the Blue Jays got sent to the Rockies. Bullpen piece.
Is he even good still?
2.6 ERA right now. I mean,
wow.
He's going to be a pretty big piece, I guess, there.
He was terrible last year.
Yeah, no, he got sent to that's why he got sent to the Blue Jays. He was on the Cardinals last year, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. And he was really bad. He had like a 5 ERA.
And then you got Nathan Eovaldi got sent to the Red Sox. It's going to shore up that rotation.
I think that's kind of funny.
You don't think so?
I think Nathan Eovaldi's like
decent.
He's like really, I don't know. He's okay. He's an okay pitcher.
I mean, the starting pitching market's not great at this deadline, so I guess take what you can get there.
Yeah, and also arms. I mean, yeah, just pitching is so expensive. Any starting pitchers are just very, very.
I mean, you look at another move. Zach Britton got sent to the Yankees, which is a little strange. I don't think Britton is what he was a couple years ago. He's still dealing with injuries. Then Jesus Familia got sent to the A's. Another bullpen. Juarez, whatever. Got sent to the A's. 2 bullpen guys. Bullpen pieces are moving all around. A lot more moves coming in the next couple days. You guys want to talk about any of these?
I think the Juarez Familia trade was fantastic. From what I've read, the 2 prospects that the A's sent over were very, very low level.
The Mets are just a mess.
The Mets don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the A's also sent over international bonus pool money, and it was actually kind of a lot, which will help the Mets. But they literally gave up almost nothing in terms of like current talent.
Yeah, I wanted to say this to the end of baseball, but the Oakland Athletics right now are on fire. The 60 wins yesterday. This team, if they were in the NL, they'd be the first team to 60 wins. And, they're in the AL, which is, has the Red Sox and Yankees and stuff. But the Athletics are a team to watch right now. I know they've been kind of mediocre the last couple of years. They don't have a lot of huge names. But this team is coming together right now.
I really like the A's. The A's are like, I don't know. I saw them a couple weeks ago with my brother. I went to an Indians game. And they're just a fun team to watch. You got Chris Davis. He's like not that big. He's like 5'10", 5'11". He just jacks home runs every year. He's like guaranteed to hit like 30 plus home runs. I mean, he's not gonna have like a super high batting average, but who cares? He's just gonna hit home runs. And then you got Matt Chapman. You got him at third base. He's quietly like one of the best defensive players in baseball. What's his name? Their young first baseman. He is like the same. I don't know. He was one of their top prospects. Yeah. He's got kind of a funny batting stance, but he has a ton of power. You got Jed Lowry. He's having like one of the best seasons in baseball for like.
That's why his team's so interesting because they don't have a ton. They don't have a star, and they're just all coming together right now. 60 wins for a team who last year. I mean, they were in like last place last year.
I'm the Mariners. If I'm the Mariners, I'm looking there. I think those are the two teams that are going to be battling it out for the wild card spot. And the Mariners haven't made the playoffs. They have the biggest drought in the MLB, and they have to watch the A's right now. Just as hot as the A's are, it's just if you're a Mariners fan, you are so nervous because this is supposed to be the year the Mariners get over the hump. And yes, they're going to have to face probably the Yankees in the first round or something like that in the wild card game, and they're probably not going to beat them. No. But that's going to be interesting to watch, that last wild card spot between the A's and the Mariners. I don't know who else is in there, but that's really interesting to watch. But the A's are the hottest team in baseball right now.
Yeah, and I know Brian touched on it. Some underrated. We want to give some of these underrated guys a little bit of credit. Some guys in the league who are doing pretty well that aren't getting a lot of hype. And I think I'm going to start in Chicago. I think Albert Amora Jr. He's batting .320 right now, .357 on-base percentage. He's having a really good year, and he's not a guy who gets talked about a lot, even though because they have Chris Bryant, Rizzo, stuff like that, and Baez.
Also, Albert Almora, his defense it's pretty darn good. In center field, I think he's one of the better center fielders defensively in baseball.
Yeah, he's an all-around solid player, and he just gets kind of pushed aside because they have Rizzo, Baez, and
so many big names.
Yeah,
so many big names.
I think Bryant's where he belongs now on the DL.
Yeah,
so,
you think so?
Yeah.
Is he on the DL?
Yeah, he just got put on the DL.
He just got put on the
DL.
DL.
He's on my fantasy team.
And they're in a tough series now. They go to they're in Chicago against Arizona, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, they won yesterday.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little bit. We're moving out. We gotta move on. Me and Brian got into this a little bit, a couple weeks ago. You got Mike Trout.
Wait. You didn't give me my underrated player, and this just makes it because he's underrated. No one wants to talk about him. But Ross Stripling.
Oh, Ross Stripling.
Oh, yeah.
Dodgers,
okay.
best ERA in baseball. He went when
best
he came.
ERA in baseball, really.
2.08 for a starting pitcher, I believe.
Oh wow.
He came to the Dodgers last year. Went to the bullpen he was a starting pitcher. Got moved to the bullpen. And because of injuries, he got moved back to the starting slot, and now he's performing to having one of the better seasons that any pitcher's having. And I think he's going to impact.
Was he an all-star?
I don't think he was. I think he was one of the biggest snubs.
That's a good one, Truman.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
No one wants to talk about him.
I remember hearing not too long ago that I think it might have been Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, saying the Dodgers would have like a sub 500 record if it wasn't for Ross Stripling. He's been that valuable.
He's holding them together. Kershaw's not.
Kershaw's injury.
No. And then I don't know, just the whole Dodgers.
I think he's going to impact playoffs greatly.
So like I said, me and Brian got into this a couple of weeks ago. Mike Trout versus Mookie Betts. Who wins the AL MVP? I think Mookie Betts gets it. Brian, I like Mike Trout a lot. I just don't think he's having the type of season that Mookie Betts is having.
I think that's literally I think that's
I'm going to go down the stats. Batting average. Mookie Betts leading the whole MLB right now with 351. Trout 311.
I mean, just not everything is about batting
I know.
average.
Home runs. Trout's got 4 more. Mookie Betts, not really a power guy, has 24 home runs. Hits. Mookie Betts has 5 more. OPS. Mookie Betts Trout has a higher OPS right now. He's at 460. Mookie Betts is at 437. Slugging percentage. Mookie Betts 668. Trout 621.
Wow, he has a 668 slugging percentage, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I like Mike Trout. He's not having the type of season Mookie Betts is having.
I overrate batting average maybe, but you literally just looking at him having an over 350 batting average, I think that might say
Trout's got a higher on base, but still.
See, okay, the thing that does it for me about Mike Trout is the fact that since 2012, since his age 20 season, he's been unquestionably the best player in baseball, and he just continues to do it. And then this year, he was on pace to have the greatest season of all time, according to WAR. And then
Brian's a big WAR guy, by the way.
I'm really into the advanced stats, but then he had I don't know. He did something with his finger, got put on the DL, and then that ruined his chances of having the greatest season of all time. But just the consistency of being great is what does it for me. But honestly, if they continue like how they are, I could see Mookie Betts winning it. Because
Mike Trout's like the LeBron of baseball. He's the easy MVP choice every year, but people just don't want to give him the MVP every year because that's kind of boring. It ruins the MVP award. So they tried their best to hype up other guys like Mookie Betts. And Trout's, like I said, he's one of the most underrated, even though he is the best player in baseball. He's one of the most under-marketed players in the game, in all of sports right now. You don't hear from him at all. The only time I ever heard from him was in the All-Star game when they mic'd him up. You never hear interviews. Yeah. You never see him doing any sort of commercials or anything like that. And he's the LeBron of baseball. He's one of the best players of all time right now. And that's crazy to say.
If he retired today, he would already go to the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And he's 26.
Yeah, that's insane. Ever since he's been in the league, he's just been the best player. He's never had a down year.
No.
And the only reason Altuve got it last year was because Trout was hurt. And that's the only reason why he doesn't get it every year, I think.
I don't think Trout's a sexy pick anymore. I think just like you said, just like LeBron in the NBA, nobody wants to see LeBron win MVP. It's just we know boring. LeBron's the best player in the world, and we know Trout's the best player in the world in baseball. But I think for that reason and the stats, the sexy stats, I think I'd call them, batting average and stuff like that, Mookie Betts just leads him in. So I would say Mookie Betts just gonna win for that reason.
Even though I want Mike Trout to, I mean, honestly, I'd be happy with either of them winning. Yeah. I'm not going to be opposed to Mookie Betts winning, but I do actually have one stat where Mike Trout is higher up.
All right.
OPS plus on Baseball Reference. It's how you measure a batter's overall value, and it takes into account everything, sort of even formula. To what stadium he's playing in.
Yeah.
And Mike Trout has an OPS plus of 199, which is absolutely absurd, and Mookie Betts has an OPS plus of 192, which is also insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they're right there.
It's literally, I don't know. I think I actually might agree with you guys.
I didn't think Mookie Betts had 24 home runs. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, he is. Both of them are just insane.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. Those are the two guys right now, though. Then National League, I think Nolan Arenado gets it. He's having a great season. He's another guy, underrated, one of the better players in the league, and he's just, you don't hear from him at all.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move now to basketball, but before that, I wanted to remind you that our show is brought to you by D's Home Cuts. D's is the best place around Northeast Ohio for a great haircut at a low price. For only $7, you can get a haircut and styling. Truman and I have been getting our haircut at D's for the last couple months. We have never looked or felt better. Dom is a great barber. Cuts get better every single time because he is always upgrading his equipment so he can give you the best haircut possible. You can find D's Home Cuts on Twitter or Instagram. Set up the appointment right in the Instagram bio. It's really easy. D's Home Cuts, professional haircuts at a low price. So basketball, not a lot going on in basketball, so we're going to move a little quickly because I know we want to get to one of these questions here. Vince Carter signed with the Hawks, 1-year deal, 21 years in the NBA right now, coming off the bench.
So he's going to the worst team in the league?
Yeah, he was on the Kings last year. He's just a veteran. It's a good deal for the Hawks because, I mean, they get a Hall of Famer, one of the best players of all time, to sit on their bench and teach, Trae Young and other rookies like that.
Why is he doing that though? Why can't Vince Carter just take a flyer with the Warriors for $1 million and win a championship
I just don't
and leave?
think teams want him. I mean,
I'm sure. Why wouldn't the Warriors want him for? I'm sure he'd take $1 million to win a championship. Just go to the Warriors, sit on the bench, and come in every once in a while. He'd be a champion. He can ride off in the sun. But now he's gonna ride off in the sun with the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a better chance to play, though, probably on the Hawks than the Warriors.
Yeah,
you probably
that's
wouldn't
true.
even touch the floor with the Warriors, though.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know.
He wants to play basketball. I'd give him 21 years. He's older than... Is he older than Dirk?
I forget.
I feel like he is older than Dirk. I don't know.
Him and Dirk, 21 years. They've been in the league together.
That's insane. Then some of the best free agents still available. We're going to run through this real quick. Clint Capella is obviously the biggest name. I don't know why he hasn't been signed yet. He's one of the better young players in the NBA. I don't know why he hasn't been signed yet. Same with Jahlil Okafor. I think somebody's got to take a flyer on him. He was a top 5 pick, and he's been working out really hard over the offseason. Nick Young, Jamal Crawford, Dwayne Wade, all those 3 guys provide valuable scoring and other assets off the bench. Don't know why they haven't been signed yet either. It's kind of like baseball last year, where a couple top guys didn't get signed until way later. But we'll see what happens there. I think all 5 of those guys deserve a contract, though, in the NBA.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some good players. Nick Young, I think he can provide, good three-point shooting off the bench. He didn't do that much with the Warriors last year. I think he just kind of wanted to win a championship. And then Dwayne Wade, if he leaves Miami, I'd be very surprised. But he's a good veteran, and
he's waiting for Miami to call him.
He can still provide some scoring. So I think those, they'll get their contracts. Not like they won't be on a team next year.
Yeah. So question and answer now. We'll start with the first one. We'll just get into it. What's going to be the MLB playoff picture? Predictions right now. We'll start with the AL because I know you guys want to get to the NL, 2 NL guys. But we'll go number 1 seed. We'll go down 1 to 5. We'll go around the table. So I think number 1 seed, I think Boston. Easily. Boston's the easy pick.
Boston.
All right. So wait. 2, Houston.
Houston.
Definitely Houston.
Yeah. 3, Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Okay. 4, I think the A's. I think the A's continue their hot streak. I think they get the number 4 seed. Easy pick there. I think they're just so hot right now.
Wait, so you think they
like the Mariners don't go?
Yeah.
And then
so you think the A's are going to get the home wild card?
Wait, you think they're going to get the home?
Yeah.
You think they're going to...
Yeah.
How would they do better than the Yankees?
I think they're going to be better than the Yankees. I think the Yankees start to fall. They've been falling the past couple weeks.
No.
Yes.
Yankees at 4.
They've been falling.
You guys seen the thing with Gary Sanchez?
Yeah, he's lazy as shit. Yeah.
All right, Yankees at 4 for me, Brian.
I still think the Yankees have home field, as much as I hate the Yankees. And then I think Oakland does get the second wild card spot.
I think the Yankees get the 5th seed, but
I want to go to the Mariners just for the sake of I just feel bad for their fans. I think the A's are hot, but how long can they keep it up? And I just really want to pick the Mariners because they're fans. That's like Buffalo, the Bills of baseball. So I'm kind of rooting for the Mariners, I feel like.
All right, we'll go to the NL. Number 1 seed, Cubs. I'm just going to say it. Throw it out there.
Yeah, I agree. I think you like being on bot. I think
Cubs are the best team in the NL.
So you think the Cubs are going to take the number 1 seed?
Yes, easily.
Yeah.
I think the Phillies are going to be the number 1 seed.
You are crazy.
I think the Phillies are going to be the number 1 seed.
I think the Phillies got the number 2 seed.
Nope. I think the Dodgers are going to take the number 2 seed.
Wow,
that's pretty bold.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Turner's on the DL.
I think
the Dodgers are playing bad.
I think Arizona gets that division.
I think.
Oh my God, that would be the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And okay, so keep going.
Okay, so 2, I think Philadelphia. I really like Philadelphia.
Wait. Okay. You're 2.
You said number 1 seed was Philly. You know that, right?
Yeah, and I got.
Okay. I just want to make sure you know that.
Wait, why is that such a big thing? They're the number 1 seed right now.
No, the Cubs are right now.
Oh yeah, the Cubs are. The Phillies are 2 games behind them.
Exactly. Yeah. Cubs are the best team.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I think that.
Well, you talk the Chicago teams up for being a Packers fan. Like,
It's baseball. It's completely
Oh,
different
my
from
God.
football.
I don't know. I'm as much as I don't want to say it. I have a feeling the Dodgers are probably pretty
Yeah.
strong. Like, I
so
don't
what
know.
seed are they in your?
Two.
I'm
Second,
confused on where we are.
second,
Two.
Okay.
second.
Okay. I got the Dodgers at 2 as well.
3, I got Arizona. I think Arizona beats the Dodgers out for that seed. We'll see what happens with Machado, how he gels in that lineup. But I think they go back and forth there. I have the Dodgers at 4, but 3, I have Arizona.
I have the Brewers at 3.
You
have the Brewers at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I mean,
Why am I crazy to think this? We're 2.5
because
games behind the Cubs.
the last 2 weeks, this team has completely fallen off from
How
where they
so?
were.
We just beat the Nationals in a
The
series.
Nationals aren't a
the
good team.
Nationals are bad. I mean, let's just face it.
I think the
Like,
Nationals are a good team.
They're overrated. They
And
just
then
got-
we're going to San Francisco right now. San Francisco's not that great of a ball club. They're a 500 team.
Decent.
They're decent.
They could win that division too. They're
The-
4
the-
games
the-
out.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner back.
The Cubs, Chris Bryant's on the DL right now. They're
Doesn't
playing
matter.
Arizona, a
They've been playing
tough
without
team.
Chris Bryant the whole year.
I think the Brewers. I think they're gonna go ahead. I think they're gonna beat out the Yankees for this J.A. Happ race in the
Really?
for J.A. Happ. I think we're gonna get a quality starter, and I think the Brewers are gonna beat out the Cubs. This is the year the Brewers beat out the Cubs.
You can argue it, Brian. I don't want to give credit to that.
I mean, the Cubs are just so much more talented than the Brewers.
I disagree.
Like
They got the better manager. They have the better starting
I don't
rotation,
think
the
they have
better
a better
bullpen.
manager.
Yes, they do.
Joe Madden
is
and
10
Terry
times better.
Francona, in my opinion, are the best
Two
two
best
managers. Like, I don't even think it's a
Choking
question.
or
Choking. Madden won the World
okay.
Series.
Choking. Okay.
Craig
all
Counsell
right. So,
hasn't been in the playoffs.
well, I mean,
Ever.
did he come into a team that he was rebuilding from the ground up?
I don't know.
Joe
I
Madden
don't-
came into a team that was really
Yeah.
good.
I think Joe Madden kind of got into a good spot, and he saw the talent that the Cubs were going to have. And
I don't
Oh
want
my
to give
God.
credence to his. It's stupid.
I don't even want to argue that.
Yeah.
okay,
I
I don't
don't
understand. You say that,
Number
but you have
4,
no argument.
4th seed. I have the Dodgers. Like I said, too much talent. I think they get in the playoffs.
Cubs for me at 4.
Cubs for you
At 4, yeah.
it has to be the Brewers for me. And yeah, I'm gonna go with the Brewers at 4. And then
Travis is going to have the Brewers missing the playoffs. Just
it's just so hard, Brian. You know that? Dealing with this.
I don't even know what to say.
The Brewers have 58 wins, everyone, and Travis is going to pick them to miss the playoffs, everyone. Just so everyone knows.
Well, all right. So what do you have 4?
4, I had the Cubs.
Okay. 5, I have. It's right there. Brewers and Atlanta. I want to give Atlanta. I think they're the better.
Atlanta has 53, 54.
Atlanta's the
Right.
better team right now.
54.
I'm going right now.
54. The
I'm
Brewers
going
have
off of
58
what
wins.
happened right now. The Brewers are just coming off a 7-game losing streak.
Wow.
They just beat the Nationals 2 out of 3
Beat a
games.
bad Nationals team. This team is
2 out of
not as
3
good as they
Contemplating
once were.
trading
The
Bryce
Brewers
Harper.
every year do the same thing. They start really, really hot and they extend it a little more every single year, and then they fall.
So
It's
you're
every
saying
year.
no one should listen to me, but why would anyone listen to you when the only reason you're picking the Brewers miss playoffs because of me?
I mean, Brent Suter just got knocked
Brent
out.
Suter, we could pick. We don't have a great starting rotation.
And that's what you need.
Where's Jimmy Nelson at?
Jimmy Nelson's coming back.
I just don't. The starting rotation is too shaky for me to give them credence in the playoffs.
Okay, well you're an idiot because the Braves have I think we're 4.5, 5.
The Braves have a way better starting rotation though.
We're 4.5, 5 games better than the Braves, and I don't see
And
where
you've lost 7.
they picked that
You just
up
lost
on
7
us.
straight.
I don't think they picked that up on
I
us.
think that the Braves are kind of suck in the second half, but I don't know. I don't think that the Brewers are.
The Braves have Freddie Freeman, who's an MVP candidate. The Brewers have nobody close to an MVP candidate.
I mean, Christian Yelich is batting 315, 310. I think Lorenzo Cain's batting near 300.
And that's
so I don't
great, but
think-
they're not game-changing type of players. They're just good players.
How are they not game-changing type of players?
No,
Christian Yelich is one of the best outfielders in the league.
He's not the best outfielder in the league.
One of the best outfielders in the league. He's batting over 310.
That
He's
doesn't-
great in the field. I don't understand how you could say he's not one of the best outfielders
He's just
in the league.
been a consistent.
He's a franchise-changing player.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's a franchise-changing player.
You think Christian Yelich is a franchise-changing player, Brian? No, he's not.
I mean,
not.
he is really, really good.
He's one of the best outfielders in the league.
Yes, he's
Like, what are you saying with that? Like,
top what?
Top.
Top 5.
He's not top
Oh,
five.
my
God.
Oh
Top
my
five.
god.
That's ridiculous.
No.
You know
Top
that's
5.
ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. You know that's
In the
stupid.
NL.
Okay, now you changed it to the NL,
NL.
but I still.
Give me your top 5 in the NL.
I don't want to do that. I want to do a list. We can do it on another show.
Give me top 5 in the NL.
I would say Christian Yelich
in the
is
NL.
without a doubt top 10 in the NL. No, there's no question. He's a 5-tool player. He can do everything.
He doesn't have power.
He's got a little bit of power.
He got a little pop, but
He has
he's
like
not-
the potential to eventually have some power. But I mean, I would put him at like.
I'd say he's.
I don't know.
I'd say he's in the range of 14 to 20 in the MLB.
Bullshit.
I would say
He's
that.
definitely top 15 in the league.
There's some good outfielders.
Yeah.
Top 15 in the league.
I don't know.
We'll make a list, I guess. Now
It's so hard to like think of every. There's so many because there's 3 outfielders on every team. It's hard to.
Top 15. And I think Lorenzo Cain's top 20.
No, he is not.
Oh.
Lorenzo Cain's. No.
I think they're both really, really good. I think they're both.
not 20
two
players.
And I think the
Fantastic
Brewers have a
players.
top 5 outfield in the league.
That is
Because I think you put Yelich and Cain together.
Who's your third guy?
It goes off between Braun. It can go off between Santana when he's up. But I think you literally have Yelich and Cain.
Domingo
back
Santana was like how he was last year.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
think
He's in
the
AAA right
Yankees
now,
have a way better
He's in
outfield.
AAA.
They moved him down.
I don't know.
We-
I mean,
we
we
have such a
we
fine
can talk
outfield.
about
Brett
this.
Phillips, too, though.
We can talk about this all day.
Why are you laughing about Brett Phillips?
Brett
Chaz,
Phillips.
you don't even know.
All right, we got to move on because okay. So who's your 5? You guys,
Oh, Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Diamondbacks for me too.
Okay, so all right, we got to move on. One question we got, it was kind of debated on Twitter yesterday, so I threw it in there. Is watching your team, your MLB team, sell at the deadline one of the most heartbreaking things to watch? Because you look, like we'll go to the Orioles. I mean, the Orioles last year, a couple years ago, were really good, and now they're just getting rid of everybody. And you're watching as a fan of the Orioles. I know Truman, you have a little bit of experience with this. The Indians don't really. Cubs, not really.
I'd say the Cubs. do.
Yeah, the Cubs.
Well, yeah,
I
but
think
do
it's the
you
Cubs.
remember when they started to sell off pieces?
Not really, but like I don't know.
Just to be like, let's just say the Cubs, it's a couple years, they start trading away Chris Bryant, Rizzo.
That would be well. Keep
It's
in mind
hard
that they
to
won a
watch.
championship though together.
Yeah.
Like the Orioles. Like
Or
didn't
like
even
the
really
White
make it
Sox a
anywhere
couple
in
years
the
ago, they
playoffs.
got rid of Sale.
To
They got-
me,
Frazier.
this is a weird question. I don't think it's one of the most heartbreaking thing of all sports because
I don't
can
watching your team trade away
I can
your
think
favorite-
of losing in the playoffs by a dropped onside kick. I can think of losing by a Hail Mary. I can think of a bunch of things, a buzzer
Yeah, but-
beater. There's just
but that's-
it's not
Those are
heartbreaking.
instant. Those are instant heartbreaks. Watching your team slowly
Yeah, 'cause,
get
I mean-
rid of your favorite players is
To me,
hard.
when I remember, I mean, it was hard because Carlos Gomez was one of my favorite players. Prince Fielder was one of my favorite players. But like,
I look at a team.
it was almost like exciting because like, okay, yeah, we're losing these players that were my favorite and like my childhood.
Let's go to
my childhood like favorites. But like, okay, we're not winning a World Series with these guys. But you know, you look and you kind of follow. Oh, we're getting the Astros 2 top prospects for Carlos Gomez. It's kind of interesting to watch. And I'm not like you guys, or Brian at least. I don't really have that much information about like farm system players, and that kind of brought me into it. And I thought it was interesting, but I guess I don't think it's one of the most heartbreaking thing in all of sports because
I go to a team like Miami. I think Miami, being a Miami Marlins fan, I mean that.
well, that would just be demoralizing.
I mean, you lost a really good group of guys. You lost a great group of
Do
guys.
they
You
even
lost,
have any?
you lost. This is what you lost. You lost D. Gordon. This is in a span of like
I don't even know if they have fans.
in a span of like 10 months. Obviously, Jose Fernandez thing was terrible, and that's completely, you can't talk about that.
Yeah,
But
this is true.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually, if there is a Miami Marlins fan out there, it would suck to be you.
you lost Jose Fernandez, obviously that's different. You lost D. Gordon, you lost Ozuna, you lost Yelich, you lost Stanton. This was a good core group of guys you could have won with easily if they would have had a little bit more pitching. And they just got traded off for nothing.
I think
they have nothing.
It's okay. Trading at the deadline, I think it's okay. It's the same as saying, okay, your team's gonna be bad, and you can have bad teams in the NFL and you can have bad teams in the NBA and whatever. But the one thing about the MLB is I think it's easier to be a bad team in the MLB because at least you have hope. Like, you have hope of like a farm system and stuff like that. And it's easier to be bad there because, I can watch, I got this guy coming up in a couple of years. This guy's going to bring hope and stuff like that. But when it comes to the NFL, you got to wait for draft picks. You got to wait. I mean, it's pretty much you're banking it all on the draft. For the NBA, same thing. You're banking it all on the draft. For the MLB, I think it's more, you can acquire prospects and there's hope.
Yeah,
I think there's something pretty like I don't know. Just for example, like, let's say that the Mets trade Jacob deGrom, this coming up week. It's like you're like trading away like a bona fide ace for more guys that you hope will eventually turn into what he already is. It's like,
and then you get like the
but at least you'll have.
Like,
it's just like buying like a lottery ticket almost.
Yeah,
like,
but if your team's bad in the NFL and your team's bad in the NBA, it's the same thing, but it's almost harder because you don't have a farm system. You're not really. I mean, you got the draft, but you're not banking on.
Or you become a team like the Padres, who just every time they get some sort of talent, they trade it.
I think you're bringing up teams that are just being stupid. Like, I think maybe I'm biased with the Brewers. I think the Brewers did their rebuild really good, and I think you guys can agree almost with that. They have their farm system and they brought up pieces.
It just takes time, I think.
Yeah, it takes time, but like you bring up the Mets. Let's be honest, the Mets have no clue what they're doing.
No,
they have zero.
clue.
The Padres really don't have any clue what they're doing. The Padres don't know if they want to compete or the Padres want to rebuild. It's the Padres. So I don't know. I think if you're smart about the rebuild, I think it's not that demoralizing. But if you're a Mets fan, yeah, you got to watch this. But you just have to understand that your front office doesn't know what they're doing.
I mean, I do kind of agree with you, but the Padres, I think, do know what they're doing. They're definitely rebuilding. Even though, like, I could see like how it goes into a gray area. I saw somewhere
where they wanted to trade
for like, Jacob deGrom or Syndergaard. That makes no sense. Okay, I agree, but they do have 10 top 100
And when they gave
prospects.
James Shields that big contract a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Hosmer,
the
big
Padres
deal.
have made some questionable decisions, but they have like top 3 farm system in Major League Baseball.
I agree. I've seen rankings, but like they make some questionable moves.
Eric Hosmer is not good.
They make some questionable moves.
It's just like you hope the team rebuilds fast, but then you got like the Astros went through like 10, 15 years of just losing. And then they finally got it right. It just takes time, I guess, and it's just hard.
Yeah, but I mean, the Brewers rebuild didn't take that long. Maybe I don't.
There's faster ones, and then there's teams like like the Padres who've just been in a rebuild for like 25 years. That's it for that.
Yeah, we're hating on your Padres over there.
Yeah, Brian's a big Padres guy, I guess.
I do not like the Padres, but I'm just.
Yeah. So, last question we got is why won't the Rams pay Aaron Donald? Unquestionably, I think we both all can agree, the best defensive player in the NFL. They gave a huge contract to Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley. 2 pretty good pieces. Brandon Cooks, I don't think, deserved top wide receiver money. And Aaron Donald deserves every single cent I think you can pay him. And they're just not even... I heard they're not even talking right now, which Aaron Donald is a monster. He's a franchise-changing player. And I just think you need him more than Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, and people don't realize, I know Jared Goff is going into his 3rd year, but in a couple years, if he's top-tier quarterback, they're going to have to pay him a boatload because that cash is just going to keep going up, or quarterback's just going to have to keep getting more and more. Marcus Peters, I know it's his first year there, but if he, he's going to command a little bit of money. He's one of the better cornerbacks in the league. So it's just they have to pay a lot. But what they don't understand is Aaron Donald's on pace to being one of the best defensive linemen of all time. And
defensive players.
You have to pay him.
the only thing I can think of why they don't want to pay him is just the fact that I don't know. I don't think that I could be wrong here, but I feel like the defensive tackle position is not super valuable, especially compared to I don't know, a top flight wide receiver or
Yeah.
I mean,
I get what you're
I
saying.
don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. But even then, that doesn't.
They're gonna have to pay this guy.
I mean, pass rushers are pretty valuable, and I know he's a defensive tackle, but still, he's had plenty of sacks over the years.
So they're gonna have to pay him. I don't know when they will. If they don't, he's gonna leave and he's gonna get his money elsewhere because somebody's gonna give him an insane deal. But that's it for our show today. I want to thank you to our sponsors, D's Home Cuts and A's Lawn Service. We ask that you go into iTunes, give us 5 stars, rate, review us, and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TNT Sports Talk 12. Listen to us tomorrow on 12 Ounce from 12 to 1 or on our YouTube page. I want to thank you to Brian coming in today, spending some time.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for our show. Have a great day and tune in on Tuesday.
Thank you. Go Packers.